Mike and Tom just did a phenomenal job of making sure that transition went well. And so for me, uh, I spent the first week just, you know, kind of walking around, and I bet it was Wednesday and I started on a Monday. He put me in the call center for like an entire month, and not in the call center, like hang out with the call center manager. Like, hey, as a matter of fact, we've got 2 CEPs who are starting too, and you're just going to go through onboarding and orientation with them. Like, you're going to learn scripts, you're going to take live phone calls, you're going to call. And it was terrifying. You know what I mean? And
Sure. Yeah.
my current call center manager and my marketing manager, who now oversees call center, they always remind me that they've got that first live phone call recorded in case I ever, make a
Mhm.
mistake. They can bring that up,
Yeah.
So I started in the call center for about a month. Um, and again, that's been the foundation of the success that, I think I've helped with this organization. Is that is such a critical component to the business. And if I wouldn't have done that first, I would not have had success learning the other departments. So from there, I went to dispatch. Then I went and worked with service for a couple weeks. Then I went and spent a couple months, not even a couple months, a couple weeks in installation. And then I came back and did some administrative stuff, spent time with APAR, and then Mike gave me a price book. He said, I'm going to have you go run sales calls. And that may have even been more scary than being
Yeah.
on the phones. And it shouldn't be, and it's not now, but at that point in time, I was like, I've never done sales before in my entire life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm a supply chain guy, process engineer by trade. Like, that's, um, and once I went into that first home and had that experience of selling who the brand was, not necessarily the equipment, but who the Vratovogs were, who our installers were, everything that we do in the call center, because Mike, little to my knowing, was preparing me for that opportunity, that phone call, that $10,000 sale or whatever it was at the time. I
Yeah.
was able to walk that client all the way through why you choose Gradeville and you don't choose somebody else. And I remember when he said yes, after I slid his options across the table, like
Yeah.
everything clicked. I mean, everything clicked for me.
Yeah.
And so we did that for probably 4 or 5 months, Bob. Yeah, somewhere in there. And then
Yeah.
he just kind of said, I think you've got it. And, started letting me lead the weekly leadership meetings and facilitate, conversation amongst all the other, leaders in the organization. And that was probably June.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been, our leadership's team show since then. And he would come in, a couple of times a week. And then slowly by the end of the year, him and Tom, retired and
Yeah.
kind of
Wow.
went off without a hitch.
What a beautiful onboarding process. It's really the way to do it. So for somebody doesn't really know the industry, how do you lead it if you don't know what every division does, right? So in the best way to learn it is to do it, right? And
Yeah,
also
I didn't know
when you're
anything.
right. And in what you're talking about, and to me, I'm thinking the whole time, everyone in those departments are getting to meet and know you as well. All of a sudden, you're not the scary guy that's taken over. I don't know. What is he really like? Is he going to change everything? And they're like, oh, he's a good guy. He's a normal guy. And we're showing him what we're doing. And then all of a sudden there's that trust, right? So when you come in, you can make changes. You can make suggestions and everyone's like, okay, there's a trust there. People are more willing to listen.
Yeah, and I think too, I've had the opportunity to talk with some other companies, throughout the Midwest, and a lot of guys don't understand how a decision in one department can positively or negatively impact everybody else, And so what I always say too is, like, you need to understand, like, what customer you're impacting, whether it's an internal customer or it's an external customer. And so for me, I got the opportunity to live that. If we make a process change here for a service technician, it may be great for them, but it may be a pain in the butt for the dispatcher who's got to generate that purchase order for that random part that we don't have on our truck. which then's got to go to the guy who's receiving it in the warehouse. And then how does that get to APAR to, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think from, one of the things that was beneficial for me coming in without knowing the business is I got to kind of connect those dots to where now I can take a step back and go, hey, that's great, but how does that impact this person?